Good morning, Jake Livingston, Planning Ops for Rocky Mountain Black, and I'll give an update on the Cameron Peak incident for August 30th. Today we can expect temperatures to be in the mid-60s to lower 70s up in the fire area. RHs up there will be in the mid-20s. Today we're expecting winds out of the west with gusts up to 40. So it's a frontal passage today. But the good thing is that we received about 3/10 of an inch of rain yesterday throughout the fire area, in some areas more. With that being said, it did not put the fire out. There's still areas of heat spread throughout this whole perimeter in the areas of concentration of dead logs hiding out under subalpine firs in the duff layer, and we expect to see more smoke as the winds pick up and things begin to dry out. And starting out with the update, I'll just start going around the fire like I usually do. Division Alpha and Zulu, all that prep work along the 103 Laramie River Road, that is complete. They're monitoring. Division Foxtrot, the majority of the work on the indirect line between the Division Lima, Foxtrot Break, and the Dead Man Road over here, that is almost complete. They'll be finishing up this afternoon or tomorrow. Division Lima, H169 over to H187 and then down to the Dead Man Road, that is complete. Division Romeo, south of Redfeather Lakes, all that is complete. They are scouting out there to look at other options, but that is also all complete. And what we're doing with the resources off of Division Lima and Romeo, which would include engine crews, hand crews, feller bunchers, massicators, skidders, we're moving that equipment around down into Division Uniform, and we're moving it out onto the Crown Point Road. We're going to start doing vegetation removal and prep work along Crown Point Road heading west out to a point here in the vicinity of Browns Lake in the Comanche Peak Wilderness. There's a point in the road that is the closest to tree line, and we're assessing with the help of the resource advisors the best place to put a line between the road and tree line. And that's what we're going to do in uniform. In addition to the equipment, there's going to be a surge group of hotshots. It'll be 2 hotshot crews, a Type 2A crew, and a wildfire module. And they'll assist with putting the line from the road up to the tree line, and then portions of this ridge line, there is vegetation, like some low saddles, and they'll put a line between the tree line to build a containment line coming around like this. This area out Pingree Park Road, as mentioned before, that's all complete. Moving around into Division Whiskey, they're still monitoring this fire behavior. There is still smoke out here. They're assessing line placement off of the Highway 14 down to the southeast toward the park boundary. They're going to develop trigger points if the fire does come back and become active again. Trigger points on when to put a control line from the Highway 14 down through that area. Structure group, they have completed prep all the way down to the Manhattan Road. So from the tunnel all the way down to the Manhattan Road. They also are keeping an eye on this fire perimeter here closest to Highway 14 and the structures along that. Up in Branch 5, we have Structure Group 2 around Crystal Lakes. We have Structure Group 3 around Redfeather Lakes, and then Structure Group 4 around Glacier View. And what they're doing is just assessing what they have out there, developing plans if the fire was to get out there, and developing equipment and supply needs for those areas if we decide to implement that sort of thing. The reason why we're continuing with our indirect line operations so far out from the fire perimeter after we've received all the rain is because it's still a safety issue up here. The only hazard that's been removed right now is the fire behavior. There's still the terrain, and there's still all the beetle kill trees. The amount of perimeter around this fire is significant. By the time we started to even work on a small area, there's a good chance that the fire will dry out again and start to move again. So we're going to focus on working further out, assessing everything, developing a plan for that, because we are entering closer to the fall season, and we know there's a history of wind events in this area, so that is why we're preparing further out. One important thing to mention today is that we have discussed, the operations group with the ICs have discussed re-entry points. Since we did receive rain, we're talking about allowing property owners to re-enter the fire area, to check on their property, do what they need to do as the moisture is still on the ground. But as it dries out and the fire gets more active, we will reassess that, and there will be closures again. But it's not open to the public. It'll just be to property owners. And we're going to work with the Sheriff's Department to determine where those points will be. So stay tuned for that information. Thank you.